Okay, so now I'm gonna get ready to pan sear this salmon. So I have my salmon sitting on a plate. I'm gonna pretty lightly season it. I think there's a lot of savory, lots of salt flavors going on in this dish, and I generally find that I season seafood less aggressively than I would a steak. So just a small amount of oil, or a small amount of salt. I'm not putting any oil onto this. I am choosing a canola oil in order to saute because I need a super high heat. You'll notice the smoke coming from my pan. That's what I want. When I'm doing fish, I want a ripping hot pan, smoking hot. It's going to instantly drop in temperature the second the fish hits the pan, and so I want to compensate for that, overcompensate for that. So I'm going to put my oil in the pan. It's not so hot that it's flaming up. Drop my fish into the pan. I'm always going to make sure to drop the fish away from me and presentation side down away from me. So if there's an oil that jumps out of the pan, it's going to jump away from me rather than onto me. Again, dropping it that way, giving it a little shake. I'm choosing a non-stick pan because I have one, but really if you had just a regular old saute pan, as long as you get it ripping hot, it's going to be just fine. See, there's just maybe a touch too much oil in here, kind of getting slightly closer to a shallow fry than a saute. That looks a lot better. And then because these are small pieces of salmon, I'm just going to cook them on one side. What I'm going to do is add some whole butter to this pan and the last of my fresh thyme that I have. Do a little tilt, turn my heat down just a touch. My butter's really frothing, cooking that time. Now I'm using that butter to cook. Some of those herbs go right on top. To cook the other side of that salmon. This technique is called Arrose. It's the French term, arroser. Basting with brown butter because the butter is browning. Getting nice caramelized on the presentation side. Still have my heat nice and high, but it's not so high that it's burning anything. Fish cooks much quicker than other proteins, pretty delicate, so you want to be careful. I mean, depending on your taste, some people like their salmon closer to well done. Some people closer to the coast might like their salmon mid-rare. I'd say the salmon at this point is definitely mid-rare. My dad's going to be eating the salmon. I know he likes it a little more cooked, so I'm going to go more towards medium. I'd say most people around here prefer medium. I'm at the point now where I think I'm ready to turn this salmon over onto the other side. See what the crust looks like. It doesn't look like it's got crusted up quite enough. If you had a fish spatula works really, really well here to pick it up. It's finally getting a crust on that side. Let's put some of this thyme on the other piece of salmon. Tilt the pan, and again, just give it a little brown butter bath. Yummy. Okay. And a little flip. Got that nice toasty caramelization. Boom. Hand roasted salmon.